Hello and welcome to the Gauntlet podcast. I'm Zach. This is Dom. This week we are coming at you with the movie Super 8.
I love this movie.
What did you think?
Oh my gosh. I forgot how old I was when I saw it. I think I was like 11 or something like that. But the acting, number one, which we'll get to that obviously later.
Yeah.
But just the whole, it's original. Turns out, I don't know if you ever saw The Iron Giant. Did you ever see that movie?
I did. Yes.
Yeah. It's a lot like it.
It really is. That's right.
Just one kid, right?
Yeah.
But like alien thing crashes and you gotta keep a secret. But it like the way they do it, it's so original, and the dynamic of the characters, the way they play off each other. I really enjoyed this movie. So yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. I was watching it and I was thinking, this storyline isn't, I mean, it's not super unique,
right?
But they put it in the 80s with the Super 8 camera being like the main pivotal focus of like they caught on camera,
which was
it made it even more unique and just it was.
I mean, and we weren't alive in the 80s, but the nostalgia still, like,
oh yeah,
I remember Dad was freaking out about it. He's like, oh gosh,
And then like I remember like he was, our dad was telling us all about the Super 8 camera,
right?
Yeah, it was this whole like because it resonated with that generation,
right?
And so that was cool. But then it was great. It was Anyway, let's see what the reviewers say.
Reviews.
Yes,
better be good.
Exactly. Okay, so Rotten Tomatoes, Super 8 gave it a 81% on the tomato meter.
Nice. Okay.
So not terrible, not too bad. But then the audience score is only 75%. So not terrible, but
not terrible at all.
I mean, solid scores. So that's good.
Usually, that's weird because usually critics are a lot more harsh than the average.
Yeah, I was a little surprised at that.
So you usually see the audience score higher, but that's crazy.
Yeah. IMDb gave it a 7 out of 10. So solid score. And Metacritic, which isn't as big, I think, but it gave it a 72% score. So actually it's 1979 Ohio. Sorry, it says it right here in the description.
Oh, well, how about that?
So it's not the 80s, it's the late 70s. But anyway, okay, that's cool. So solid points. Nothing, nothing astronomical, but pretty solid. Okay, so now we have some reviews from the top critics of Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
This one is a negative one. It's always fun to start with negatives.
It is. I wonder what the hell they say.
This person says, a Spielberg pastiche of uncanny precision and sublime pointlessness.
Okay.
What?
Okay. It's no well, then what about E.T.?
I don't okay, so it's sci-fi or science fiction.
Right.
But I don't know why they're saying it's pointless. Like the story is really well done. It has plot points. It has
how is it?
It has anyway.
Yeah. Oh no, what else?
So this one's a good one.
Okay.
This person says, while it may not achieve the level of pop culture canonization as the Spielberg films it invokes, Super 8 should inspire many to use their camera phones for something more creative than a profile picture. That
is a very niche.
Kind of a backhanded compliment.
Right. It's kind of like, that's what he meant to say. That use your phones for better. It's like, okay, that's very, very niche. How about something bigger?
So it wasn't as groundbreaking as Jaws, but that was just because Jaws had never been it was totally new.
Right.
Like science fiction has been done all the time. So, I mean, I don't know. Like this Super 8, it's a science fiction movie that enters a very saturated market of science fiction stories.
And what's funny is, I mean, E.T., it plays, I don't know if I'm wrong about this. Some people might eat me alive, but it seems like E.T. is more about the alien story. Like there's tons of human element to it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But Super 8, you don't even see the alien until the very, 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 very end.
Exactly.
So it's really just about the people and the suspense built around it. So I think it's much more of a human movie than E.T. is.
I agree. Yeah. And but E.T. is incredible too.
Oh yeah.
But the dynamic,
I love
like
E.T.
explaining E.T., like his character arc, even though he doesn't even speak. Like it's crazy, it's insane, it's super good. But yeah, I agree. I feel like this one was a little more human driven.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing this does have going for it is that there is literally only one negative comment, the one I read already.
Really?
Everybody else certified it fresh.
This is good. I like this.
Yeah, this person says, what keeps us enthralled is its nostalgic sensibility, partly for the time, but mostly for its old school filmmaking values. Solid review.
I like it.
Yeah, okay. So there you have it there. Let's jump into some movie breakdown.
Okay, I like it.
What I really liked, so just like from the beginning of the movie, I loved how, and they kind of, the theme was kind of throughout the rest of it too.
Yeah.
It explained so much with so little, and it was so effortless in the way that, like the beginning, the opening shot, no accidents for how many days, and then he's taking it down and puts up one, so you immediately know, okay, an accident happened. Like they explained that whole thing with no lines, nothing spoken, just some movement. And then it cuts right to the wake for his mother, and the little the things the kids are saying as they're talking, and he's sitting out there.
Right.
They're just like saying these little things like
exactly.
You think it was an open casket, or
the dynamic. Well, it's like, they're talking about the open casket and everything, because it's like, well, what do you mean? Why wouldn't it be? It was
exactly
bad,
like the accident, the explanation of her death, the dynamic between him and his father with the lines.
Yeah.
The parents of his friend is like, he doesn't understand Joe. He's like, he's a good man, he'll step up.
Right.
Everything is explained in like,
coming from those parents, oddly enough.
I know, like 5 minutes.
Terrible parents. Very funny. But
it's just so effortless.
Then Alice's dad shows up,
Yeah.
And like he tries, not bless his heart, because he's an effed up man, but he had the human quality enough to try to apologize.
Yeah.
Which maybe not then,
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know, but
he's lacking the common sense in the moment. But
exactly.
What was also cool was, I thought, well, pretty much all of the characters that are in the movie shown throughout are in that opening scene, basically. I mean, except for a few, obviously, but they're all there, and they're all introduced in the same instance, and they all have lines. Almost pretty much all of them have lines, like the parents, all of his friends, his father.
Is it like, is the only character like Alice? Is she the only one not introduced? Like, I think so.
Well, yeah, Alice is in there. Old Man Woodward is in there, but I mean, he's not in it much, but because of his character. But I think pretty much, I mean, except for the
bad guy.
The bad guy. What is his name? I forget
his name, but he's Truman's best friend in the Truman Show.
Nellick. Yeah.
Nellick. That's right. Holy crap.
That's right. Truman's best friend in the Truman Show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved how they did that. It was just so seamless and flawless. And then I loved how, like, the plot points were all there leading up. The pacing was incredible. Just, I don't know. I mean, the end of the movie was so satisfying.
Yeah, I think I was never bored when I watched it, because if the plot's not moving forward really, really fast, there's just really funny, really genuine dialogue going on between these like teenagers or tweens, some of them. Yeah. And it's just really funny to watch, you know? They're all so good. Yeah. And they all have their own quirks, Yeah. Like there's Carrie, who's got like the explosives and like the
pyromaniac guy.
Yeah. And then there's the nerdy guy, or the guy who's more, but he's strong, but he's like more nerdy.
Oh, Martin. Martin.
Yeah. And I forget. And then
I have it right here.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's good.
I have them all memorized. It's all up here. Charles, Carrie, Preston, Martin.
Oh, then the fat one. Yeah, he's hilarious.
It's just the dynamic between them. Yeah. Is, I mean, like there's a lot of movies with friend-children dynamics. Yeah. I have never seen any as well pulled off.
Seriously.
The quality of acting and just the seamless banter as this movie.
See, and that's the thing. Is that you can have good acting talking scenes, right? But the banter, that's a good word, is just so there, where it's so effortless.
Exactly. Like it's one moment they're like
thrown out,
each other off. The next moment they're cracking a joke, and it's seamless. It's so real.
It's so real.
And it's just, you're like, what the hell is this? You're like, it's like I'm watching a group of kids on the side of the street playing around.
Right. Like exactly.
It's so real.
It's not like it's a movie. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like, okay, so I guess that's movie breakdown. We gotta move. It's annoying.
Movie.
Character development. Okay, so it's not as epic as say like a Gladiator where he's great and then he's beaten down and then he's great again, right? That kind of thing. Where Joe is like he's a totally normal kid, right? Beaten down with the fact his mom died suddenly and horribly. But the relationship that when I was watching, it was kind of cool because it was like at the end when he's talking to the alien, and it may seem cheesy and cliche what he's saying, but he's not talking to the alien really. He's kind of talking to himself and everything else.
That moment hit me hard because I mean I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah,
and so I was like, oh my gosh,
it's about the alien in the sense that the alien's literally holding him there, not killing him.
Like he's telling the alien, like, yeah, bad things happen. You can still live. Right. You've been tortured. We're not all bad. Right. You don't need to kill everybody. Like you can leave. It's okay. Yeah. But then also the psychic connection, the alien is feeling Joe's experience with the same thing, such as his mother just dying.
I forgot you could feel it with a psychic connection.
And so that's why
I never thought that.
And he's holding him and he's like, bad things happen, but you can still live.
That's why he believes it, because he feels it.
And then he opens his eyes, he realized, he's not his blinders or whatever. Like
I always love the sound of the crisp.
They're like those big, dark, almost like beautiful eyes for an alien.
Yeah.
Like so real and lifelike. And you're just like, wow. It's like, oh, the connection, and they both know exactly what they're feeling. And Joe says that. Right. And it's just, I was gonna save that for the philosophical meeting portion, but I love how we brought it up now because I was excited to mention.
Yeah, because I forgot that he could feel people's emotions. It's like Mantis, like by touching, he's like an empath or whatever, So
it's like a connection.
Yeah, dude. I totally.
It was so good.
That takes him from who he is in the beginning to coming to terms, because the whole movie he's grieving, right? Now he's still a boy, right? He's still got his crush on Alice. He's still having fun with his friends and everything, but he hangs on to that locket. Still there, yeah. He's got the locket.
He needs that locket. It's his only connection with his mother. And at the end, even though the whole audience might be saying, "Well, why'd you let it go at the end then when it's the Magnus taking it away?" The point was, it's like, well, he doesn't need it as a crutch anymore. Right. Also because his dad shows up and hugs him, and it kind of like his dad's like, he's like I got you. Right. He's like, okay, my dad's here now. I don't need my crutch.
Which we're jumping around, but that moment, dude, it's like he's talking to himself and Joe. He's like, I got you. He's like, I got you. Like that kind of
I didn't think about it like that. That's a great point.
Because he says it twice, and he's like, because the whole movie, like his wife dies, wants to protect his kid from this alien, right? And his kid's running around solving shit, and he's trying to figure it all out, and he's trying to keep him safe at the same time. Yeah. But I like how they also made him discover stuff too. It wasn't just about, just the idiot dad. He's the sheriff of the place, right?
That's great. That takes us right into the protagonist, antagonist.
That really does. Holy crap.
Because I was gonna say,
flawless at this.
we're so good. What I was gonna say is, I loved how this movie was a little different, where like the alien isn't necessarily the bad guy. Like he's a force.
I was thinking that before we even started. Yeah.
It's Nellick.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is Joe, who's like primarily the main character, doesn't really interact with Nellick very much. Yeah. The main interaction, like the battle, you could say, is between his dad and Nellick. Yeah. And they're constantly butting heads, and he takes him to prisoner, and he tries to break out, and then he's trying to get his kid back from him. Like all of the antagonistic actions, so to speak, are taken against Joe's father. What's his name again? Dang it.
What's his name? Clive? No.
Oh,
Clay.
It just has Lamb up here, his last name.
Mr.
Deputy
Lamb.
Jackson Lamb.
Jackson Lamb. I'm thinking Clive.
Clive.
This would be further from. Oh, that's crazy. Anyway.
I loved how all of Nellick's actions were like attacks, so to speak, for the movie, were against Jackson Lamb.
Yeah.
Like, except for, in the school at the end, he takes Joe prisoner with his friends.
Right.
And that was just because they were there. They
Right,
didn't even
exactly.
know
It
what they
wasn't
were
strictly
onto.
about the
Like
kids.
he never knew that Joe and his friends knew way more than he did about.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and they had just seen way more than he had because
exactly.
they're watching the tape.
Like
Yeah.
he didn't know that they knew where Woodward's stuff was. They didn't know
Yeah.
that he was their teacher. Like they didn't know they were there at this, like at filming at the
Right.
station when the train got crashed.
Yeah.
So everything was against his dad. And so it's like a secondary main character was taking on the antagonist more than the main character because of the dynamic.
Right.
Because he was a kid, it was his dad. Like it was super unique in that sense and really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because how are you going to make like the kid take on the military authority? You know,
Exactly,
realistically,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and the way they pulled it off, like you're saying, I thought it was pretty great.
Yeah, it is pretty great. Yeah. It made it much more real because like the kid and his friends can't take on the military,
the
police,
military, you know.
the
What's cool is I loved how
force.
they tied in. Like it was a suspenseful movie, right? It wasn't a horror, you know. But they also tied that in with the nostalgia of the era, but also the Cold War thing going on, right? The Cold War.
Yes.
The Cold War, right? Like because the people in the town are saying, "Oh, I'm convinced this is a Russian invasion," you know, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
And because like her microwaves are stolen or something.
Yeah.
Like you know, the Soviets would be after the microwaves. That kind of thing. But it was funny how that came up. And I love how they tied it all together beautifully. Okay, so I guess that moves us into acting. Because I have a point, but I want to save it for meaning because it's about meaning. And we
yes. Okay. Again, we'll keep going to acting then. Okay.
What we were even saying in the beginning, acting it's flawless, seamless.
There are so many scenes in this movie where the first time I saw this movie, and it came out 2011, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, November 22nd, 2011.
Oh wow, I was wrong. I was 13, not 11.
Oh,
maybe 12.
But there are let's see, 3 or 4 scenes, I think. Let's see. So there's the first scene, that sticks out to me. There's the scene, okay. So there's a scene when he meets Alice for the first time, like talks to her in the car.
Yeah.
That back and forth.
Yeah.
And then there's the scene when they're in his room when the power's out.
Yeah.
And they're talking, and then the projector goes on, the film goes on, plays, and then there's the end with the locket and his dad.
Yeah.
Those scenes. Oh no, the other one was on the train station when they're saying the lines that she does really good, and they're all like blown away.
Yeah.
Those scenes, they like blew up in my face the first time I saw it as incredible. And let's see, how old was I back then? I was like 15.
Yeah.
This movie came out. And even at 15, I was like, holy shit. This is so well done. So like, well done. Just from an acting standpoint, and I was just 15.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so good. Like it was incredibly believable. They're kids. Like they were around my age. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. Yeah. But the scenes I mentioned, other pivotal scenes, the acting is so on point. You don't I know this is normally the case with any movie, but it's different because of they're kids.
Because they're kids, and you expect them to have
exactly
stiff acting.
It is. I think it's pretty much flawless. There's no line in the movie where I'm like, that was flat, or that was a little awkward.
Yeah.
Or you're like, that was poorly said. Everything flows. Like, see, it flows. It's like Charles says, the line. See, it flows.
Dude, that's a line that we quote all the time that we quoted before. And I remember if you know what podcast that was, when I said, see, it flows, and I said, we're going to do Super 8 soon, comment, because I remember quoting that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, that's what I had to say. Pretty much phenomenal.
I said at the beginning too, it's like, it was just funny because the scenes that blew up to me was the train station for sure. It was the scene in the beginning where Joe's on the swing set and his friends are inside. Just the first time you see them, they're just all bantering, right?
Yeah.
And then the scene in the restaurant. He's like he calls him Smartin, you know, and he's like, could you bring a boosters? Could you bring a extra plate of fries because my friend here is fat or something like that. I told you don't call me Smartin. He's like, Anyway,
don't even call me Smartin. I'm sorry, Smartin.
He's like, why don't you just go cry about it? Yeah. Or like, oh yeah, because they're discussing things, and one of my favorite characters, oddly enough, is the guy who works at the camera store who has a crush on Charles' sister.
Oh, he's hilarious.
He's got like the Jesus hair going.
Totally hippie. Yeah, hippie look going.
Yeah.
He's and he's so well placed. Like his scenes, like they just they're just in the right spots. And he's there when they need him. And he's literally only there when they need him.
Yeah.
Like the store, and then for the car, like
he shows up. That's the first time I heard the F-bomb in cinema history, by the way.
Me too.
In a movie. Yeah.
Where it wasn't, where dad didn't mute it.
Where it wasn't bleeped. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was it's strong memories with that character. Broke a lot of ground with that character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cinematography. All right. It was it's called Super 8. So it wasn't shot on a Super 8, obviously, but I mean there's the clips that they have of it, of like the alien breaking out of the train. That's cool. I did like that. So this might not be cinematography proper, right? I just thought that it was a movie, right? It wasn't shot bad. It wasn't shot like flawless. There was no like landscape shots to really impress me. But
yeah,
in terms of cinematics, the way they incorporated the Super 8 into the movie, in terms of the clips they saw, or because it's the title, right? Yeah. So they had to tie it in well. I thought they tied that in really, really well. And yeah, I guess in cinematography terms, like I guess that's really it. Like I'm not an expert on cinematography. So I just know that it wasn't ugly, right?
Yeah.
I thought
for me, this was actually a movie where I noticed a lot because to me it stood out. I think part of the reason was after we saw it the first time, Jordan, our older brother, he would nerd it out on it because he's in the film and he makes videos for a living now. And so he watched behind the scenes and he watched how J.J. Abrams and Spielberg did certain things. Yeah. So now when I'm older and I watched it, I remember some of those things.
There was so many flares.
I realized how incredible it actually was and how it stands out from, J.J. Abrams and Spielberg are both incredible.
Oh yeah.
For most of their movies are incredible. So I noticed things and I felt like the cinematography helped tell the story. Like I felt like it was like amazing icing on the cake with a cherry on top. Like the story was great already, and then the cinematography. I loved how there was so many instances where it was almost like a sweeping up into the shot.
Okay,
And then when it was the serious scenes, there was always slight zooming in on the face, and it just added so much, and it made the brain subconsciously know this was serious stuff. Right. And you just paid so much more attention. Or at least I did. Yeah. And I was like, this is I was like, this is really good cinematography, and I don't even know this stuff very well. I'm just noticing some key things, and then the flares, the lighting. Yeah. And I remember watching behind the scenes how they created the flares, because Jordan was like,
he was all obsessed with flares.
Like, how did they do that? Because there was like, and most of the time, I remember watching an interview in the behind the scenes of Abrams, and he was like, most of the time they don't make much sense because logically, why would there be a flare or something there, like on the camera, like a big light randomly in the corner or something? Right. But it adds so much. Yeah. And the audience accepts it because it adds to the moment. Right. Words to that effect. Obviously, it was years ago, but I remember that words being like that because it made so much sense to me, even though he was right. Where he's like, they're not needed, but they're so cool. And
exactly. So which is great because it shows the human element coming through film, right? Yeah. Which is the best part, instead of just, no, we stick to the rule book, which isn't what people enjoy movies for anyway, Exactly. Because there's the set structure, obviously, but then it's up to the, the director to make it extra special. Exactly. Okay. And I just know the box is going to pop up any minute now and say you got like 10 minutes left.
You got 10 minutes left. Yeah.
Okay. Script writing. Wow.
I guess we kind of said it with the lines.
Banter. Right.
Everything was like the banter. Yeah. Everything fit.
Right.
It flowed.
And I could say that lines for almost every segment of this movie. See, it flows. Yeah. But like the way, okay, what I did like, one thing that I keyed in on really well was the relationship between Alice's dad and Alice and Joe's dad and Joe, right?
Mhm.
Um, because you don't think Alice's dad cares, and his actions don't show it at all. But then once he sees the alien, and he tells Joe, he's like, something took her, it took her. No one believes me, but Joe's like, I do. It actually, shows that he cares. But I think that like when Joe sees his dad crying in the bathroom, and his dad never shows vulnerability in front of him, really.
Mm-hmm.
And he just like pretends nothing happened and just closes the door.
Yeah.
Which makes Joe like, what, like more confused, because Joe's like, wait, shouldn't we be sad? But also we're not, apparently, but we should, because my mom just died, but apparently we're not supposed to acknowledge that amongst ourselves, because my dad's still so in grief, I guess. And one of my favorite scenes, not my favorite, I guess, but one of the in this segment is when he comes home and his dad and the cops are on the table. He's just like, oh yeah, there's what's the dog's name? Lucy?
Yeah.
Is it Lucy? Okay, yeah.
Lucy, yeah.
He's got to feed her, and like he spills the food and everything. I love that scene because it's so real, because like imagine you're a kid like walking home. There's some food, by the way. Okay, yeah.
He's like, I put some slices in the fridge for you.
Right.
And then he's like, oh, sorry, I ate those. Sorry, kid. And he's like,
yeah.
Oh, and then his dad walks by. He's like, hey, pick that up, will you?
Yeah.
The things he dropped.
Right.
And it's just like you said, yeah, it's so real.
Yeah. And you're just kind of like, it's like neither. It's like the dad's trying to process his grief while still being the sheriff, while still raising a son. And to his credit, that's hard.
Yeah.
Right. Crazy hard. I wouldn't know, but I imagine it's very, very hard.
Yeah.
And his son's just reeling from the loss of his mom, right? Which is still very, very hard. But like, I mean, from the kid or the adult perspective. So they're both feeling it, but they can't connect. And as the movie goes on and Alice comes into the picture and they clash over it, because Joe didn't know was her dad, right? He didn't. Yeah. And his dad does.
No. Yeah, he didn't know that her dad didn't
was the one who was supposed to take his wife's shift.
Yeah.
And then, because he was drunk, he couldn't show up. Because in that scene when they're in the car and he apologizes to his dad, like Alice's dad apologizes to Jackson. And he's just like, it was an accident. Like, he doesn't, what's beautiful is that he doesn't just say, oh, it's okay, here, have a hug. He's like, he's begrudgingly just like, it was an accident. Like he's moving on, right?
Yeah.
Like not for his sake, really, but for his, And
in that line, I was thinking about this when I saw it, like I watched it right before. So like an hour ago.
Yeah.
I saw it when I saw that scene. And he says it was an accident. The way he says it, like you said, he's like, it's almost begrudging.
Yeah.
And it's not really just for him. It's for him too, himself. Right. But he says it almost in a way where it's like, once he hears it out loud, where his Daynard apologizes to him, and he says it was an accident. He kind of says it twice, and it's kind of quiet, and he's just looking forward very, aggressively. It's almost like hearing him say it out loud, he kind of realizes that it's true.
Yeah.
Or he's like, his anger is like it's totally legit anger.
Yeah.
And it's not all entirely misplaced, because the dude should have been at his shift, but it was an accident where like he didn't cause the machine to break or the pipe to fall or whatever it was.
Right. Exactly.
So he almost says it in a way where he's like, it was an accident. It's almost like he realizes it himself a little bit, I think.
Right.
Oh, that was cool.
Which is funny because I actually read a quote by Bruce Lee, and I know we just got the freaking 10-minute notice. But it was a quote by Bruce Lee that said, be careful the words you speak over yourself and in general, because you cast spells with your words. That's why they call it spelling, right? And he's like, what you say becomes your reality about anything, right? So it's like, be careful. You're literally speaking into existence by speaking. So anyway, that caught my attention when you were saying how he was saying it and everything, right? How he believes it by saying it. Because it's true, right? It's just how it works. It's how our freaking universe works, and it's insane. Okay, music. I gotta be honest, I don't really remember. Oh, I just remember the military, like da, 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 like that, like the the end music or something. I honestly, the main theme was pretty darn good. Like, okay, like when the alien opens his eyes, like that speech, that music there, it really, really got me for sure. Like, but in terms of, it's the sad moments where they play that theme, right? Right, like it's so freaking nostalgic.
I think you're right. Where that bit of music right there, is so good. But it is the only thing I remember.
Right.
But yeah. Anyway, continue.
Just the key, but by showing it in key places, right? Less is more in this case. When they do it in those really potent moments, it just makes things that much more potent, I guess. You know, and it really just, because the end scene, especially where he lets the locker go, right?
Yes.
And to me, like, this is getting into meaning and everything. Did anyone else think this? Let me know. It's conception. You got this big ball and this little necklace with a little tail.
True.
Goes into the ball. But it creates it, and it creates the ship, and then the ship flies away.
Hey, that's true.
Yeah, and it's like and they had to be stupid enough to know it at least resembled that, you know.
Yeah.
And it speaks to him moving on, right?
Like a new beginning,
new life.
Yeah, new life. Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool, because I saw that. I always thought that, and I was like,
I never thought about it like that. That's so cool.
Yeah, because like it's like he's waiting, because like all the guns go first, like the cars are going, all the metallic objects are going, right? And then like it comes out, and he grabs it, and then it flips open, you know, and you can see, you never knew the picture he was looking at the entire movie.
You're right.
Until you see it open.
That's so true.
And then you see it, and he finally lets go, and it really hits you hard.
Oh my goodness, that is,
because he's always looking at it.
Yeah,
you know, especially in the swing scene at the beginning, and just you know, it will really make you. It'll really hit you in the feels. Let me just say, you know, you should watch it. Those particular scenes, especially. Okay, 6 minutes. What do you have for meaning?
I don't know. I mean, I like how this movie takes. It's like they took two different kinds of movies. Well, maybe even three different kinds of movie storyline, three different movie storylines, and meshed them into one. You have a science fiction. Alien comes to Earth, starts terrorizing the town. Okay, yada yada yada. You have, oh, this is a sad story. The guy's mom just died at the beginning, and it's him and his father coming to terms and bonding.
Right.
And then you have, oh, it's a kid who has a crush on his classmate, and it's making a movie with friends, and
it's like a teen drama, and then it's a drama, and then it's a sci-fi flick. It's like all these things.
It's like, and all three of them are meshed into one, and it's just woven together really well. And they tied it. I think it's kind of like they tied almost all three of them together with that one scene in the line where he says bad things happen, but you can still live. Right. And it kind of ties together most of all three of those stories. Yeah. Where it's kind of like, because when he says that, they show Alice's face, and she's thinking of her dad, and maybe even of like what happened with his mom and their dynamic. Then also he's talking to the alien about him being tortured and experimented on since the 50s, and now he's trying to escape. And then it's talking about Joe Lamb and his dad and his mother dying. Right. So all three of them are just woven together kind of in that line. Right. And
which is so
that kind of, and it's so cool. And then with the psychic connection, so the alien knows exactly how he's feeling. They both know exactly how each other are feeling. Right. It's amazing.
That the way they pulled together. And I mean, because like I said, I never thought of the psychic connection when he's holding him like that. I never thought of that, which just makes it so potent. Yeah. Because he feels everything, and because you've seen the whole movie, you know what Joe's been going through the whole movie. And to know that the alien feels that genuinely, so as genuine as possible, right? Just to see that, you just know that, you know, like it really just completes everything. right?
Yeah.
Which is good because right after that happens, it's basically over, and then he leaves, and it's fine, right?
Yeah.
Which is what you should do when the story's done.
Exactly.
Okay, we got 3 minutes. Let's grade this.
Time to grade this puppy.
All right. I don't know what I'm going to give an X, but I want to give things away, right?
Movie breakdown. Yes or no?
Movie breakdown.
X or check mark?
Check. For me.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what I would give. Character development. Okay,
yes.
let me
check mark. Here's the problem. Okay, I'm gonna give that a check mark. I'm gonna give protagonist, antagonist a check mark. Acting, yes. Cinematography, yes. Script writing, yes. Music, no.
Yeah.
Simply because of the I remember the main theme on the key moments, and it was amazing, like beautiful, but that's it.
Yeah,
and I feel like we have to be, you know, critical on this.
Right, we got to be a little critical. We can't purely be emotional about it.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm
gonna give a yes too. So that's my grade.
Okay, so everything but everything else.
Everything but music.
Okay, I'm gonna give everything but music and cinematography.
Okay.
Just because I didn't really notice it, which maybe that's my fault. But probably it's my fault.
It's totally your fault, yeah.
Yeah, incredibly so. Script writing, yes. Meaning, hell yes. Okay. So yeah, that one passed.
Yeah.
3 X's. 3 X's. Wasn't a golden one. We've done goldens. Let me check. Yeah, for the past few. Yeah, the Crudes was a golden. Patriot. You gave cinematography an X on the Patriot.
Just because it didn't stand out to me, yeah.
I guess I gave it an X on this one, you know. Okay, so there we have it. We got a minute.
There we have it.
It passed. We'll get a little more critical maybe because too many are passing.
So here's the deal. I had an idea for next week's movie, but I want to pick something where we can be really critical on it. So I think I'm gonna think about it on some more. I'll think about it some more, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. You got any ideas for future episodes? Let us know in the comments.
Exactly. Give us a like, and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. Ciao.
Ciao.